when it came to the plot plan, the reason it took me so, and it took me, I think, a solid, I don't know, 2 weeks or a month. I had the rest of it, the rest of the application finished, but this plot plan took me forever, just because there were so many different ways to improve the design, and every time I thought I had the design down, I realized I could, put more plants in, put more plants in, put more plants in. I started looking at the empty space instead of, the space that I was using, and was realizing there's just, there's walkways that are there that could be used, and I don't have a way to use them, and if I have terraces, lined up this way, and then I can't do this, but if I turn them this way, then I can do this. But what if I just combine all the terraces and then I just have one giant and even then I got finished with the plot plan, and it's still not like, the property still doesn't look like the plot plan, simply because you get to it and you're like, holy shit, this is taking a lot longer than you expect, and it's just, you don't have the time to finish it up. So it's something where it's slowly happens. But for your plot plan, there should be some sort of plot plan checklist, ideally with your development services in your county office. Now, on this one specifically, you can talk to your Jackson County planner, and they should be able to help you out. But again, planning, development office, services, same shit. Okay. This is basically what you'll need, at least what I needed. I needed some engineer paper, which is just 8.5 by 11 standard paper, but it has all this little squares all over it. It's like a giant grid. Every inch, I think, is about 5 squares or so. It makes it easy to draw stuff out. You'll need, I don't know what they call it. I think it's an engineer's scale or an engineer's ruler. It's a 3-sided one. It just, again, when you're breaking things down, from feet to inches, and you need everything to scale, it's necessary. Ideally, mechanical pencil or something. That's about it. That's really all you need. Hopefully like something like Microsoft Publisher. It's a standard program, comes with Microsoft Office. You don't need anything crazy. You just need something to be able to write some text, put some arrows, and maybe make some squiggly lines if you need them. That's about it. So for the plot plan, some of the things that you're actually going to have to, and on this specific one, some of the stuff that I had to put was, besides an accurate shape and dimensions of the entire property, I had to draw the property lines in a solid black line. Oh god, by the way, some things have to be solid lines, some things have to be fucking dotted lines, some things have to be fucking dashed lines. Just pay attention to that. So your plot plan will have to have your name, township, range, all that shit. You'll have to have an arrow pointing north. You'll have to show any adjacent public or private roads, access easements, or driveway locations. You'll have to show the location of all buildings, existing, proposed, or to be removed. You have to show distances to at least 2 of the closest property lines, so north and east or south and west. You have to show the proposed construction. Again, that can be indicated by dashed lines, but you have to show the proposed construction's dimensions, the location and direction of all water courses and drainage ways, so rivers, streams, creeks, canals, ponds, lakes, wetlands, winter wash. Let's see. You'll have to show the distance of the proposed structure from your house or whatever. Same, the distance of the structure from waterways, the direction of any downward slopes. Depending on your county, you may have to show the elevation. The location and dimensions and capacity or size of the tank of existing septic tank or a drop box or other sewage disposal facility. You'll have to show the location and dimensions of any existing or proposed waste lines, sewage disposal facilities, including the location and dimensions of the drain field, replacement drain field, or the replacement drain field, sorry. Now, for the drain field, you're supposed to include, the distance between all the lines and the elevation. Whatever. You'll have to show a location of all existing or proposed soil test pits, even if they've been backfilled. I didn't even know what it was. Location of existing proposed water well and water lines. You'll have to show the distance from the structure to the septic tank. And then you have to show that all the minimum setbacks have been met for your project. So again, the setbacks can be something like you have to be 30 feet away from your boundary line in order to build a new greenhouse. Or you're allowed to build a greenhouse right up on your property or your property's line. Let's see. Now, as far as orientation and whatnot, and kind of thinking about the flow of the farm. Think about when you go into a store. What's the first thing you see? Do you usually go to the right or the left? Where do you like to park? What side do you get out of? How easy is it to turn your vehicle around? What about unloading? For things like that, what I had to do is, and that's actually some of the stuff that you'll have to show, is that you have an area for parking, that you have, I guess they're called access and maneuvering standards. You have to show things like, so for instance, I had to put a hammerhead turnaround, which really is just a T, but you have to show with an arrow and some text that, the road is this wide and that this specific part of this hammerhead turnaround is 20 feet wide instead of 12 feet. You just have to have it. You have to, depending on the structures. So if you're going to have a greenhouse, you may have to have your firefighting personnel from your area physically come up and take a look at your property and sign off and say, okay, we can get our truck up here. Or, no, we can't. We need you to do this, this, and this. That's because for firefighters, a greenhouse is something that can be claimed on insurance, and so that's a structure that they need to be capable of extinguishing any flames on. However, for just standard outdoor shit like a hoop house, they don't give a shit at all, and they're just like, well, as long as it's good, then it's good. But yeah, sometimes you may have to have them come up. Let's see, what else? As far as oh gosh, really we can go into this much further, but I think this is probably a little bit better for another, it's not even a step, just even another podcast or something to talk about, as far as the logistics of setting up a farm and kind of where my head is at, and because that might be a little too much.